Hey everybody, thank you so much for checking out this video. It's your girl LB. Welcome to my channel, Watch With Me LB, where I give you fun, fresh, and funny rants, reviews, and recaps on my favorite movies and TV shows. We are here to talk about True Detective episode 3. Baby, let me tell you something. Don't do that to me, okay? I was not prepared to be scared. Those are bars. But I distinctly remember saying, oh, hell no, twice during this episode. Keep me on my toes, True Detective, okay? Let's get in here and talk about episode 3 of True Detective, baby, because I got some questions, comments, concerns, queries, if you will, and I'd like to discuss them with you. Thank you. So, y'all, this episode opens up with a flashback to 7 years ago where baby Navarro is on the force. She's with APD and she is going on a call. He goes to the door of this home and here's a woman screaming, okay? Screaming in a way that she is either giving birth or being murdered. There is no in between. So to my delight, the lady was giving birth, okay? Annie K opens the door. She's alive, well, healthy, and thriving, okay? And it's like, look, baby, if you want to arrest me, I'm going to need at least 30 to 45 minutes because the baby's crowning and I ain't got time. So come on in here and close the door because it's going to be a draft, okay? We got new life being brought forth. It's a woman giving birth. She's in a pool of water. That's why I gotta pause, okay? Now, I know that in current times in True Detective, the water is no bueno, all right? I'm not sure what the water situation was 7 years ago, all right? But that freaked me out, right? To think of a woman giving birth and being open, okay? And in water, right? It's about maybe 6 women in there. They got 2 or 3 women that are throat singing, all right? Now, my Nupiat cousins are known for throat singing. Why True Detective wouldn't use throat singing instead of Billie Eilish's song for the opening credits, knowing that, you know, what we're hearing is traditional and it's sacred and it's special to the Anupiaq people, but then seeing the images that are in the opening credits of the show, like the juxtaposition of the spiritual sounds with the menacing ass, you know, visuals, that would have been fire, okay? Now, I don't mean no disrespect to Billie Eilish. I don't know any of her songs, like word for word. I know them if I hear them, especially the Barbie song. They play that song every 15 minutes. Jesus, what am I made for? I just felt like that was a missed opportunity on whoever was in charge of the music selection. Like, put the cousins in there. Like, I'm not a Nupiaq, babe, I'm out the night ward. Anyway, I be getting so hyped up sometimes. I gotta calm down. The woman is in the birthing tub and she's, you know, I'm talking about in the heat of the moment, honey. And she looks up and sees Navarro and is like, well, what's that bitch doing here? And I'm like, well, God damn it. What did Navarro do? Like, why does nobody like this person? And that's my girl. And you know, I told y'all I love her real bad. And I'm just trying to figure out what's the disconnect. Even though that was the vibe, right? The Titas, you know, the aunties, they still brought her into the circle and they were all holding hands and like bringing this baby into the world, into the community, right? Which was beautiful because Navarro is down. You know, she could be down. She's a Nupiaq, okay? So I thought that was a beautiful scene, but I was still confused about why they don't want her to be down for the cause. Like, what is the beef? The lady gave birth to the baby and, you know, as one does, you know, you want to hear your baby cry. The baby wasn't crying, y'all. And I was like, don't y'all start this episode off with this baby dying in this place. Don't you do it, okay? So she did CPR. She gave the baby oxygen. And the baby was like, woo, that was scary. And the baby came on back, okay? And I was like, yes. Annie K is like, all right, baby, let me take these gloves off. You can go ahead and take me to jail if you like. And Navarro was like, well, goddamn, I don't want to take you to jail. Nah, running the only birthing center in this whole region. Who gonna do the birthing if she not doing the birthing? Now we jump to present times on the 5th day of consecutive nighttime. Let me just say, all right, before I move forward, because you know if I don't say it, I'm gonna get indigestion. Hank, he did it. I don't know what it is, but he did it. He's a terrible person. He's a terrible officer of the law. He don't enforce the laws. And he's abusive, manipulative, a liar, a scoundrel, and a scallywag. Okay, can a scallywag be a man? It's a scallywag. Because why would you be bringing random ass townsfolk to the search looking for Clark, right? Because Clark, where is he at? Navarro takes umbrage, okay? Because why are all y'all here? First of all, you're hollering, you're bringing snacks to the hunt. It's not about your appetite, sir. Put it up. They have one man out there, he got apples and oranges and shit. And I'm like, listen, sir, I know you probably paid an arm and a leg for citrus in Alaska. All right? Why would you bring that to a hunt for a man that's possibly dead in the wilderness? You're just being selfish. He's considered armed and dangerous. Okay, yes, he got a sketchy trailer in the no man's land. He looks like he might be a macadamia. You don't know that for sure. If you see him, take him out. And I'm like, well, why? Why would you take him out, Hank? Because isn't he the only one that's gonna tell you anything? Because you don't know nothing. Hank got to go. Okay, I want him to be, you know, he should have been in the corpsicle. This is a fictional person. I can say, you know, I can say that if I want to. So now we get a scene with Danvers and Petey Pryor. Okay, now I've been calling him Petey Pryor because up until this episode, my boy has been giving wet behind the ears. Put me in, coach. Yes, he has a child, you know, a family and responsibilities. He's a full grown ass man, but he still was giving childish. This episode, he wasn't Petey. He was Peter. His attitude in the beginning of this episode was immediate to me. Like, I realized that he's like changing, right? Because of this case. And I mean, be real. Sitting and staring at 6 and a possible dead men for 48 hours straight. It's a lot to process, and it's gonna change your attitude. All right, and hopefully he be the one to bring his daddy down, because his daddy's trash. Peter asks, what's tea with you and Navarro? Like, why y'all don't like each other? You telling me to tell her come up here like for a temporary transfer? Well, what's tea? Like, why y'all don't like each other? He ain't say what's tea. No, that's just me as a black woman from the South saying that. She tells him and us about the Wheeler case. Now, Wheeler was a piece of shit that was an abuser, got out of jail and hooked up with this 18-year-old girl, bless her heart, right? Started to abuse her physically, and, you know, they would get called out and she would never, like, press charges. And so, you know, how it goes, you know, if you don't get out of that situation, unfortunately, sometimes it turns into a homicide. And one day that is exactly what happened. They got out there and the young lady had unfortunately died. He murdered her, right? So Danvers says that it was a murder-suicide, right? So on the flashback where Navarro and Danvers were working the case, they got to the place and it was, you know, the young lady was dead. The man, Wheeler, was sitting in a chair. He was alive. Okay, so where the murder-suicide party. He gave like this whistle. Like, they were like, put your hands up, like, you coming with us? He gives this creepy ass whistle. That's not the first time in True Detective that a creepy ass whistle was whistled. And now all of a sudden they say, oh yeah, it was a murder suicide. One of y'all bitches shot him. Okay, I'm just trying to figure out which one. So I want y'all to drop your theories in the comments about who you think took Wheeler out. Sitting here today, I feel like it was Navarro. We know she don't play around with people getting abused from the very first episode. In a fit of rage, she shot that man in the back of his head. Or maybe in the front of his head. She unalived that man, okay? And Danvers covered it up. Keep people from getting suspicious. Danvers transferred her up out of it. I don't know, but I don't know. Because Danvers kind of hateful. So she could have did it too. Because she tells Peter the girl and Wheeler were dead when they got to the house. Navarro is out there in the tundra looking for Clark in the dark. Okay, bars. I just can't help but to give y'all bars. Anyway, he's walking and realizes that she picked up one of the oranges from one of the wild ass hillbilly people from the town that's not supposed to be out there in the first place. Throws it out into the wilderness. All right, and she goes on about her search. And I'm telling you, about 2.5 seconds later, baby, that orange comes back like it was a motherfucking boomerang. Excuse me, bitch. Who threw that orange? And why would you do that? Was it a ghost? Was it a poltergeist? Was it a Yeti? Was it a polar bear? Was it a snowman? Was it an elf? Like a Christmas elf? Why Navarro wouldn't immediately turn around and do her best Jackie Joyner curses, run, sprint, gallop to the truck, put on lights and sirens and get up out of there? Hey, she's a braver woman than me. That was the first time I said, oh, hell no. Navarro gets called back to Danvers and them. She gets called back to Danvers' office because it's time to get to work. We got to go through Clark's things so we could sleuth together. You know what I'm saying? We got to get clues and stuff. That's what detectives do. Danvers realizes that there are pictures of Annie K in the evidence boxes, and that most of the pictures are selfies, right? But there's a few of them in there that are candid pictures, meaning somebody took them, right? So they put two and two together and realize that the person who took the pictures is the woman who runs the beauty shop in town who dyed Annie K's little stripe blue. Now, Navarro, during her investigation of Annie K's case, talked to this lady before. And Navarro was like, well, why you ain't tell me? You know what I'm saying? Like, you knew that she was with Clark. Why you ain't said nothing? Like, listen, I was scared. The lady dead. So I got a child and she is just, you know, I would prefer to not die. She knew that Clark and Annie K didn't want anybody to know about their relationship. Why? Hey, I don't know. But the lady from the beauty shop, per usual, had all the tea. That's where you go to find the tea, okay? Because women will be in there telling all their business, your business, people you don't even know business. She called the police station to, like, make a report, like to call and say, hey, you know, I got some information. I'm trying to give it to you. Annie K is sleeping with Raymond Clark over there at the warehouse suspense place. What's the name of the thing? The research center. What the fuck is a warehouse suspense place? I don't know. Lady says, you know, I called and nobody did anything. So Navarro is pissed. And Hank, first of all, Hank, sketchy. Because everybody else in this is answering their radios. It's not a radio, but, you know, right. It was, hey, come in, L. I'm here, what's good? But Hank, you ain't heard a boo cat dog from Hank. Where you at, Henry? That's insubordination if you ask me. Anybody ask me, so I'm gonna be quiet. And it's like the 5 minutes of daylight that they do get, and it look like dusk. Cause it damn day it's dawn and dusk at the same time. Okay, it's dusk. Whoo, I don't know if that's gonna make it into this video because that was childish. I don't even know what that was for. Anyways, Danvers gets a notification on her phone and says that it's her Tinder notification. You know, Danvers gonna get her some yam now. She don't give a damn. She gonna get that yam. That's a hashtag. Put that on a sweatshirt, okay? Ooh, I got to grow up one day, man. Not today, but one of these days I'm gonna grow. You gonna be so proud of me. Like, Navarro, you not on Tinder? What you doing? I know you and Kavik got y'all little rank that ain't think, but like that's all you do. Like, what do you do when you get bored? Navarro is like, well, I pray. And Danvers like laughs in this lady face. I'm confused why Navarro keeps sharing things with Danvers, because Danvers ain't shit. To each his own. Okay, I wasn't telling her shit else after she pushed me at the ice rink. Started off talking about yams and ended up talking about praying. And Navarro was like, I don't pray like, you know, Hail Mary full of grace, you know, bless me Father if I have sinned kind of prayer. You could tell I'm Catholic. It's more like listening, trying to connect, trying to see what the Lord got for me. Tap into something bigger than myself. And so Danvers is like, it ain't no magic. It ain't no chupacabra. Ooh, E.T. with it. Just disrespectful. I could just pluck Danvers in her, but not Jodie Foster. All right, Danvers. Danvers needs a pluck in the middle of her forehead. Now we back over there with Peter, and he's still watching these poor little people decompose and defrost at the same time. His raggedy daddy come in there and gives him his skates from when he was little, right? And he's like, hey, you know, you were, you know, I know Darwin's 4, which is, you know, Peter's son. I know Darwin's 4, but you were a great skater at that time, so you should take him out and teach him. And he's like trying to connect with him. And I don't know if it's like, I feel bad that I hit you and lost my temper kind of thing. Or if it's him wanting to connect with Peter to pull him away from Danvers. Manipulation, whatever it was. He's like, yeah, so what's Danvers up to? What Danvers been up to? You know what I'm saying? Not like they got 6 and a possible dead men right behind him at an ice rink in a town that he's supposed to be a leader of law enforcement in. What's she up to? What you up to, dummy? So he says, hey, Daddy, what's going on with the Wheeler case? You know, Danvers won't tell me, and I know something is going on. Nobody's saying anything. And then Hank gonna fix his mouth to say, I don't know what you're talking about. Hank was the whole ass sheriff when the Wheeler case happened. You don't know what happened? 2 of your deputies were involved in a murder-suicide, or caught a murder-suicide in this small-ass town. And you don't know? Oh, okay. Danvers and Navarro pull up at the skating rink on 2 wheels, baby. They itching to get up in that thing. Right? And so Navarro gets up. I'm talking about nose to nose. Navarro is like, you received a direct call about Raymond Clark's and Annie K's relationship buku long time ago. You didn't log it. You ain't tell nobody. You ain't put it out over the radio. You ain't write a poster, no nothing. Then Hank gonna say, Danvers, get your girl. Pause. Bitch, I turn into an owl because who are you talking to? Who are you referring to? She ain't even addressed the comment. She was like, why wouldn't you say anything? See, he says the woman was a whore. She was sleeping with everybody in town. You want me to make a note every time somebody call in and tell me that this woman that's dead in the street slept with somebody? I got a full-time job. I don't have to. Pause. Because who told you that? Did you make that up? Because how do you know that? Where you getting your information from? Danvers pop up. She basically gives him a slap on the wrist talking about, I'm going to give you a negligence report for some shit. I don't know. Basically nothing. He says, well, maybe I'll write a report on you for playing Mrs. Robinson with my son. To which she responds by knocking the cup of coffee or tea or whatever that is he had in his hand in his face, right? That's the least you could do. Because he gonna say, well, who the hell is Mrs. Robinson? He a baby. He don't even know. Cheers to you, Mrs. Robinson. He ain't no blessed heart. Pause, okay? That's when I was thinking, okay, well, maybe it wasn't Navarro that did it. Maybe it was Danvers that killed Wheeler. And she needed Hank to help her clean up the mess or do something. Maybe he had something over her. Something about the way she handled that particular instance made me feel like he had something on her. Or maybe he knew something about her. I don't know. Comment down below and let me know what you thought. Navarro goes to find Kavik, right? He's ice fishing in a ice fishing house. I guess, is it a house or a hut? I don't know. He's ice fishing. And so she goes to him to ask about Oliver Tagak. They got that name from the hairdresser lady who said, you know, Oliver Tagak used to work there. He knew about everything too. And Danvers and Navarro were like, who the hell is that? Kavik is like, I'm not telling you nothing until you tell me something. To tell Kavik about her childhood, right? Her mom was from Ennis and moved out of Alaska when she was 15 and then met Navarro's dad. He was from Boston. They lived in Boston. And the daddy was, of course, the mom was not mentally well. In the middle of an episode, she ran away and never came back because she was murdered while she was out, which is fucking tragic. Navarro back out there in that tundra, baby, where that orange came from. No. She's shining her light and she sees like a little boy in some pajamas running like into the darkness. And she's like, hey, and she tries to run after the baby and she slips and hit her head. Now, when she wakes up, look like she's in Afghanistan. You know, we hear whispers and sounds and stuff in this show that I have no clue what they mean. But once again, I'm thinking to myself, hell no, because who is whispering Melissa? Last time when she was talking to Aunt Petunia / Rose, Aunt Petunia / Rose called her Missy. And I was asking, was it because she had got a misdemeanor? I was confused. And now the ghost voice is saying, Melissa, excuse me, bitch. But at this point, I know Navarro is an unreliable narrator. Not a navigator, but a narrator. And the little baby that she was chasing into the tundra puts his hand on her like cheek shoulder situation and says, go get my mommy. Who are you, little ghost baby? Who are you, baby love? I will help you. But I just need to know your identification first. Because who is your mom? Probably got a little slight concussion and she gets a phone call while she walking back to her truck. That's something what happened with her sister at the bar. So Navarro finds her sister on this shipwreck in the middle of literally nowhere. Is this real? Because why is it a ship right here? Sister said something about, you know, being by the water. And it was a very like difficult scene for me to try to figure out. So I didn't know what was going on with that scene. Comment down below and let me know. Danvers goes to like, I don't want to call it a repass because I don't know if that's what it is. But it's like they're sitting with this lady supporting her after she's had, it's the lady with the baby that was born, stillborn, right? So they throat singing, they sitting with her, they holding her, they giving her food, you know, making sure she got support. It was really, really nice. Danvers goes in there. And nobody says anything to Danvers. Danvers doesn't say anything to anybody, but the woman looks at Danvers, right? And it kind of makes her uncomfortable. So she excuses herself and goes to the bathroom. She's like trying to fix herself up. And she literally got to look at herself in the mirror like, bitch, whose side are you on? You got to face your front. Okay, that's what my Nigerian cousins be saying. You got to face your front. Tries to wash her hands, but guess what, baby? That water came out looking like, you know, when you was a kid and they would give you like a little cup of water to like clean your paintbrush off, and then the water end up looking like chalky, dirty, nasty water. You know what I'm saying? It was giving paint cleaning water coming out the faucet. So now she's seeing the effects firsthand. Like, look at this shit that's coming out of these people. This is inhumane, bitch. What you gonna do? law enforcement. Danvers and Pete couldn't get the forensic tech come out and examine the bodies, right? Because you know they on the clock. They got to get all this stuff done, or they're gonna have to ship the, you know, the corpsicle, which is a terrible name to call these people, but they fictional, so it's fine. You know, they're gonna have to ship them people to to Anchorage. You know, Pete was like, listen, I can call my cousin, he a veterinarian. Big ass people, big ass animals, it's kind of like the same thing. The veterinarian is like, I don't know nothing about, you know, what y'all got going on. This some wild shit. But I can tell you right now, these people didn't die because they were too cold. Kind of fall asleep. Your heart rate just slows down until it don't move no more, and then you just die. It's kind of like peaceful. It's like you go to sleep. These motherfuckers back here was scared. They died and then they froze. Navarro pulls up. I found Peter to God. All right, he don't want to be found. We ain't gonna have no Social Security card on him because that ain't the kind of lifestyle he want to live. All right, so he's living with a bunch of nomads up top. So we need to go ahead and go see about them. So they go to the nomad camp. Baby, let me tell you something. These nomads, don't go up there with no shits and giggles, because it's not a shits and giggles kind of crew. Okay? So Navarro and Danvers went up there like, hey, we just trying to find Peter. They tell, you know, Navarro and Danvers that, you know, he in the house. If he want to talk to you, he gonna talk to you. But if he don't, then your ass is out of luck. So they go up to the door, and so Danvers pretends like he told them to come in so that the people around them will think that they got permission to go inside. It's like, oh, okay. Yeah, we coming in right now. Hold on, let me wipe my shoes off. All right, we coming in right now. That man ain't saying nothing. And the man is politely sitting in a chair with a big ass rifle on his lap. If you step one more foot into this cabin, I'm gonna blow your goddamn head off. I'm giving you a heads up. He turns his attention to Navarro, right? He can see that she's indigenous. He's like, yeah, so what's your name? Like, who are you? And so she's like, I'm Evangeline Navarro. And he's like, no, girl, like, who your people? That's basically the equivalent as who your mom and them. But when Navarro was telling Kavik about her mom and her whole story, she mentioned that her mom never gave her Nupiaq name before she died, and that she doesn't know. I would have been devastated. So now he thinks that she done turned her back on her community so she can go over there and enforce the laws with the white people. Maybe we just arrest you for the murders of the scientists up at the Salal station. And the man loses it. He specifically says Lund is dead. And I'm like, why? What Lund got going on? They go to the hospital to see Lund. My man's has lost an arm, a leg from the knee down, and another leg from like the shin down. Extremities are black. His face is burned. His eyes are burned. And then the noise he was making, he sounded just like that caribou. Oh, like it was just very... I didn't want no parts of it. But Danvers got so close to this man, and I just was so confused. I was so scared because he was giving zombie. And I was like, bitch, he's gonna bite you. Lund said, we woke her. She's awake. She found us in the dark. Who is she? Who is she? She was close to that boy. I was like, oh my girl, back up just a little bit. And all of a sudden, all hell break loose in the hospital. And they said, Chief Danvers, we need you. We need your help, right? So apparently it's some shit going down in the lobby. And we see Navarro at the door looking down the hallway. Baby, when I tell you, Lund politely sat up with all the ease and enjoyment of somebody with wonderfully lubricated spine. Baby, sat up in the bed and looked at Navarro square eyes. Girl, that was the second part of the show when I was like, oh, hell no. Your mother says hello. She's waiting for you. And then he proceeds to point with the one hand that he has left that is completely frostbitten. And then lays back down again with his fully lubricated spine. And then proceeds to die. Bitch, what? Did that actually happen? Because why is the timing of all of this just suspect to me? Then a cherry on top, Pete come through with Annie K's phone. He cracked it. How he did that? Should I be looking at him sideways? Danvers and Navarro, what was on Annie K's phone? It's a video. She went to somewhere. She's in like an ice cavern. She was like, listen, I found it. It's here. I know where it's at. And she was scared. Something was coming after that baby. And we don't see what it was. She was recording and she dropped her phone. And we just hear her screaming in, I'm assuming it's pain. We just hear her screaming bloody murder. How the hell did the phone get up from under there? She was in an ice cave and then she died. Then her body pop up, tore up, stabbed up, beat up. They cut her tongue out. They investigate. Then her tongue pop up 6 years later. Then the phone get cracked. Who brought the phone up? Now, I got questions. So that's where the episode ends. Hey, I love this episode. This episode was great. Okay, kept me on my toes, baby. And I love seeing the indigenous cousins throw singing. Yay! They should have had that as the theme song. Okay, comment down below and let me know what you thought about this episode. I can't wait to talk to y'all about it. I hope you enjoyed this video, y'all. Happy Mardi Gras. Bye.